Okay, call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody, and we'll start with a prayer and the pledge. Heavenly Father, we just pause just for a moment. Yesterday was Labor Day, and we just want to honor all the people that work and make this community strong. We're thankful for the industry that hires these people. We are so blessed. We just pray that you give everybody around the table wisdom tonight to make the right decisions. It's great for our community. And this I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Bassett.
Here.
Juan.
Here.
Ridgway.
Present.
Barth.
Here.
Clipper.
Here.
And Beverly's absent.
Okay, have before you the August 17th council meeting minutes for approval. Any corrections?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Ridgway.
Yes.
Clipper.
Yes.
Juan.
Yes.
Barth.
Abstain.
Bassett.
Yes.
You have before you the approval of the bills. I had a chance to look those over. Any questions? Oh, we got to amend I can do that next.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one on the flag. Cheryl, do you guys buy flags from, is this Action flag the same place as what the park buys their flags from?
I don't think so. I think they
I get mine from
top.
Action.
Okay, I just seen there was two flags. I didn't know why you just don't buy them together, but that's all.
So the Thomas Henry surveying, $1,000 for the annexation survey and the encroachment, is that all that he's owed on any of that? So $1,000 is what we've...
Yeah, that was for those two contracts.
Okay.
Chief's not here, so police department gun. Did we already buy? I thought we bought all new guns.
That was donated.
Those are handguns.
Red Angel from their
Okay.
donut sales.
Okay. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Bassett.
Yes.
Juan.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Clipper.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that we need to amend the agenda. It's solicitor's report, which one? 2012. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Clipper.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Bassett.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Juan.
Yes.
Okay, we have one representative, Gabriel Smith. You're going after your Eagle, right?
Yes.
And you want to kind of tell us what your projects entail? If you want to step up there, that'd be great, so that everybody could hear you.
Yes, my project is going to be putting up a gateway or welcome to Hicksville sign there by Dairy Delight on, I forget the intersection. It's not that lot right next to it. We are waiting on call to date currently. We should have the information from that, as early as tomorrow. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can get that done.
Great.
You'd have to fight an eagle to get that, do you? I notice you're bandaged up.
I fell and broke two metacarpals.
Tell us something about yourself, Gabe. Why you're a scout, what year you are in school, what your plans are.
I myself am currently attending Fort County in the law enforcement and security tactics program over there. The reason why I joined Scouts is essentially my dad pushed me when I was, little Cub Scouts, and then I just sort of stuck with it. After high school, I'm planning on going into the military as in the Army as a 68 Whiskey Combat Medical Specialist.
Good deal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Questions? Any other questions for him? Okay, thanks for
Thank you.
coming and good luck on your project.
Yes.
Thanks for making the town look better.
Thank you.
Okay, a representative from Little League Association, Justin?
I got some things I only printed out for because it kills my printer at home and drains all my ink. So,
Cheap?
Good.
This one I had to go to black and white on, so I don't know.
I know a good printer in town.
Yeah.
Can I get a number?
Well, here, give it to them, Mike.
As long as Cheryl will have a copy.
So I'm here to represent the Little League Board. We talked about earlier this summer, we wanted to do a big improvement down at the park. We've been blessed and have made some money down there for the program. And one of the burdensome eyesore spots that we think that's down there is the stone up in between the fields by the concession stand. It holds weeds and they have a hard time spraying it because of the wire tower. So at the last board meeting, we had about $20,000 that we raised, and we went to try to concrete that area in between the concession stand and the fields. But we want to do it over a 3-year period. We want to start on field 5 and concrete up. If you guys are familiar, when you walk up to the area, there's a little chain with a rope there. Start there, go up to the dugouts, go down the asphalt area, go 25 foot off where the home plate fence turns. You know, it goes straight and it turns. So go back 25 feet there, concrete that, and just follow the fence around 25 feet the rest of the way. And then I was down in Branson, and it was the Little League World Series ballpark. I went there a couple weeks ago. And we've talked in the past about getting bleachers to put down there, but the problem are those aluminum bleachers are a fortune. And at the Little League ballpark, they had those stadium seats on each side of the first and third base dugout and some behind home plate. So we talked, man, that'd be cool. And we looked at the pricing. They're about $100 a seat. I got online and I found them out of Sparta, Kentucky, down at the NASCAR racetrack. They had a patriotic section in the NASCAR. They're tearing that out. So these are used seats. They had red, white, and blue. I told them I haven't committed because I want to get approval from you guys, but we want to get 250 of the stadium seats, and then pour the concrete, pour the riser like you guys see in that one picture, and do like 40 on each side. So each field would have 80 seats total. And there's one picture, that black and white one that's printed. Down there at that ballpark, they had shade shelters. They were like 2-inch pipe that went up, and then they had the mesh tarps for shade that went over their seating. And I talked to some local factories, and I think we can get the pipe donated, and we want to put the shade shelters up. So we want to start on one field, concrete it, do the step, put the second row risers, put the stadium seats in, and do the shade shelters, and make field 5 awesome. Then our goal the next year would be do field 6, and then the goal would be the field 7, and then the 4th year down there we'd connect all the concrete. I've had Jaden Yoder's been down there and looked at it. He shot great with his transit. We don't think we need to put any drainage in at this time for this 25 foot. Obviously on the next couple sections we probably will need to put some drainage in. There's a big, I think a 24-inch tile or something runs down through there. Is that true? You know? We're going to dig and tie into that. I've got all the labor donated. I got with IMI Concrete out of Fort Wayne. They're going to give us the concrete at $105 a yard versus $140. So they're making a donation. Everything's pretty much volunteer donation except some of the material we got to buy. So if you guys approve it, we've already approved it in our agenda. I talked to Val and Gary, and they liked it. I asked them if I should go to Park Board. They said, why don't I just come up here and talk to you guys? We're going to try to do it before the snow flies this year, so it's ready to go in the spring. And I'm just asking for council's approval if we can do that.
How much are the seats that you're getting from Kentucky a piece?
How many?
How much?
7,000 for 250. I think it comes out to $28.
Big difference.
Yeah, we're going to do the red and white and do every other row red, one white. And the shade shelters, the mesh tarps, we were going to do red and white above them too. I'm going to run down there if you guys approve it. I was going to go next week and pick them up with a trailer and bring them back. And I told the group that we have to buy enough to do all the fields at one time so they all match. You know, we can do the concrete in 2 or 3 year period, but if we have to have all the seats to match, so it's $7,000 for the seats and it's about $10,000 for the concrete, and then with the shade shelter is about another $3 or $4,000. So pretty much takes all our 20.
Where are you going to store the seats out there?
I was gonna put them out at Dan Walker's in that barn across from Schmidt's house there, unless someone else has got a better spot.
I was just wondering, because we've had handicapped people ask about getting closer to the fields.
Gotcha.
Are you accommodating any, like, little pad or anywhere where, I know with the concrete, that's a huge help for anybody in a wheelchair or a
I think
walker.
in between like the third baseline, the way we're going to lay the seats out, we want to have some spacing. So maybe some people don't want to sit in these, they can still put their chairs and stuff. So where the turn from third and behind home plate makes a turn, I think we'll have an opening there. And people in wheelchairs should probably wheel right up there and set too.
That would be a big help for anybody
Yes.
with that need. Yeah.
And you're going to have extra seats, because I'm sure there'll be some vandalism.
Yeah,
going on.
we got 250 and I got 240, we're figuring 240, 80 a field, and then we have 10 extra. And then the place is called Bleacher Builders out of Muncie, Indiana. I called them about these and they tore these out of this down at Sparta at the NASCAR track. And the guy said there's a bunch more. So when I get down there, I'm going to take a wad of cash and try and negotiate more with him down there and get some more. So I'm going to try to do so we have extras.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
I think it looked beautiful. I told
Yeah.
the board, you know, we've had some people make some sizable donations and they want to see something happen with their money. So I think that we do field 5, and then, you know, next year we try to raise money and they see what we're trying to do, and then over a 3 or 4 year period, hopefully we got enough to complete the whole thing. It's hard to paint the picture to somebody until they see it. So
Yeah, no, I think it's excellent.
How do you raise money? He said you
we
had...
did a chicken fundraiser. We did a fundraiser, brought in $9,977, and then Steve and Mary Height made a donation, and some other families have made donations. And the concession stand makes money too. So it's kind of like, you know, how they did the dugouts. They had enough to do the first 2, then they had to do the third one. That the next year, I think our goal as a group is let's try to do exactly what we're talking for the next 3 years, and then the 4th year we'd connect all the concrete on the inside. So we think that would be a long-term, a goal that would last a long time down there. So that's our plan. If you guys approve us to do it, I'm going to head to Kentucky and get the seats. I've got them on hold, so I can get them. And
So anybody concerns?
No, I think you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate all your guys' hard work.
A big ball tournament this weekend too?
yeah, we got a ball tournament. That's how we're raising money too.
It's a neat idea, whoever you come up with.
Yeah, we're having a ball tournament this weekend, and you know that's how we try to raise money that way. And I've talked with Val and Gary, and they've been super nice. And I would like to try to. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that the park is probably one of Hicksville's biggest assets, and I never realized this a couple years ago until obviously my kids are in there, and I go down there almost every night of the week. And it's a great thing for our town and our community, and I'd like to try to do some other like ball tournaments, and all it does is make money for the Hicksville Ball Association, and then make these nicer improvements.
Yes. Do we need a motion?
You gotta say a couple of things about that ball tournament, because I've heard, maybe I'm wrong here, but you guys all the kids have to use wooden bats,
Yep. So
and they're actually having a parent, like a coach, throw to them, even though they're used to having other kids throw to them, so.
it's an 8U and 10U ball tournament. Greg Miller is doing the 10U, his boys 10, and they're worried about the time off of the kids because now they're in football and the kids aren't pitching and they're worried about hurting kids' arms. So they're going to do a wood bat, coach pitch 10U for fun. And the goal was to give away $500 to have the teams come in. We didn't get enough. Governor DeWine put out an announcement 2-3 weeks ago that you couldn't have 2 teams going to play an opposing team within a 24-hour period. But now they've got it cleared up that was for like volleyball and basketball, so baseball is okay. So with the 8U, we got 6. We're going to give away the $500. It's $250 registered, and then the winner gets $500 donated to their Little League board. So, yeah, it should be fun. The weather will be nice. So, yeah.
Troy, do we need a motion?
We probably should.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
A second.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
It's second. Bassett,
Yes.
Juan,
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Klepper,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
I got a question. Are you still next year going to do background checks?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Just So we're on the same page?
Yep, we've talked about that, we're planning on that. We had
Okay.
2 guys step down, I don't know if you guys heard here in the past.
All right.
Had 2 people step down, so we're looking to fill 2 more seats. And
All right.
actually, we have a meeting, as soon as I leave here, we're gonna go discuss that.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
You want these pictures back to share with everyone?
No, you guys can have it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Probably drain the ink out of it, maybe reuse it.
Have a good one. Thanks.
See ya.
Okay, boards and commissions, notice of a public hearing, planning commission meeting, be September the 17th in the council chambers for an application for a lot split, 338, 340 Chicago Avenue. So that's coming up, it'll be next week, right? 17th. Any comments on that?
Didn't they try to do something down there before?
That's what I was gonna say.
I just recall
It's the same guy. He wants to look into developing that again.
Okay. I just remembered that property out there, I know the owner.
What time's that meeting?
What time?
6 p.m.
Doesn't say.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, it should be on here something.
Right there.
Okay, 6 o'clock. Must be on the,
Yeah.
it's not on here. Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Okay. Council committee reports. Anybody having meetings the last 3 weeks? Wow. Okay. Administrators report.
Okay, got quite a few things actually. Take care of the simpler ones first. Just to let residents know, we are not out chipping or picking up limbs. We were done with that a couple weeks ago, so they'll just have to take care of their own. We didn't really have any kind of storm in the past 2 weeks, so we've been doing a lot of other stuff. Bid opening for the McDonald's playground equipment September 25th. First ad ought to be in the Tribune tomorrow. My Friday afternoon meeting. That's just in case you see me going out of town wondering if I'm skipping. I guess.
Tear it up.
Now, on the more important matters, first one, I did receive a call last week. A lady was asking about what we were doing with the former rain garden.
I thought we agreed to have the gazebo from the Boy Scouts was going to put in that spot.
I think that all went by the wayside, so.
Last I knew, that's what it was.
That's what you did decide.
Yes. And it was the Ish boy.
Yeah, Max?
Yeah, was going to do that. Do you know anything about that since you're...
I think because of COVID, he changed it last minute.
So he's not going to build one at all then, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess that answered that, so. We still had it approved to sell.
My personal opinion is
That's where I've had people in the
wasn't
past
gonna be-
saying they'd be interested in buying it if we're not going to do anything. So since he called last week, I said I would bring it up and.
And we already had the blessing from the county, correct, to sell, right, Troy?
That's my recollection, is that they said we were good to go.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I've heard some thoughts, but
Oh, we'd have to put it out for bid, or
Have to do
big
an
bid on
auction.
it, right? Have to do an
Have to do an
auction.
auction on it, yeah.
okay. So is that the consensus? Do we need to vote on that? Put it up for sale?
We'd have to bring a
Or do you have to bring?
resolution or something to do it. but-
Okay, so we have to do the 3 readings and,
Yeah, we could, I mean, if you want to get it before the weather turns
All right.
better or whatever.
so that's a consensus, bring it back, try to sell it.
And declare emergency.
Okay,
Well, no, that's fine. I mean, she was gonna call me back tomorrow. I just told her that at this point, that's what you're planning to do. Now, you might end up voting it down, but at least, okay?
okay.
Plus, I can't see without my glass on some of this. Now, I did email just the Water Sewer Committee as far as Tom Henry and the extra survey. So I don't know if you guys had thought about, I mean, Ron's not here, but for the $2,500, is that really what you still want to do? Besides not knowing where I'd get the money from right off the bat. Tom was also just a little bit, you know, what are you trying to accomplish with that? He's not opposed to doing it, because if you'd end up moving that swale, there go all your property pins. But anyway, I was just throwing it out there. I told him not to do anything until I got back with him.
I don't know if that's something the committee needs to readdress. I mean, I think you had brought up the point of.
Yeah, the biggest purpose of that is so there's something to indicate long-term and to enforce off of to avoid any future encroachments. So I don't know what the answer is there.
I mean, those properties are all staked at the back anyways, like with the lot lines.
That's what they were gonna have him do, put
Oh,
a,
they're not, I mean,
put a pin between each one that's backing up or butting up to the existing Haver Drive.
It's basically the utility right-of-way. It's staked 7.5 both ways from the center right now. So people out there know that something's happening.
Because I did that, you got that today, right, Cheryl? I had done like a draft letter that she could fill in, like we talked about at the last meeting, to send to everybody, telling them. And the one thing I wasn't sure on about that, maybe Kent could answer, the survey that he did do that did that actually show like encroachments on?
Yes.
Because I referenced that in there, that there was, we would attach whatever was in there and they would show the encroachment, so, okay.
I mean, I ain't telling you just to hold off till you make a final decision. I guess I'd bring it up, make sure people are thinking about it.
If and when that would sell, they'd probably have it surveyed, I'm guessing, to make sure. Is that, or am I wrong?
May or may not, because those are all lots, so they can look at the size of all the lots on the plat and know that, lot number whatever is 50 by 100, whatever it is, and where it's located at. So when you're selling like a lot number like that, you get whatever is encompassed in that lot. That's the one thing about a platted lot.
Okay.
So they probably wouldn't, they would just, a deed from us to somebody else would be lots number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever they are, numbered, all of them on like one deed, and then so they'd have them all in their name, and then you want to build a house on one out there and they just deed to Ron Jones lot number 5 and whatever the subdivision is, so they wouldn't have a need unless they were just curious, or unless they wanted to make sure that we had properly identified where the easement was and the back lines. They wouldn't, that'd be wasted expense for them.
Okay. So number one, Kent says it doesn't have the 2,500, and do you think it's necessary?
On a legal standpoint, is that something you think we should have done if we're going to make people move off the, off the encroachment? You can't.
Well, it's already stated.
Well, he did a survey and
Right.
said what's that's valid at this point. Now I realize nobody's put anything in on the other side, and I think what Taylor's saying is if they do develop that and they start building houses, if you got them pinned back there, then people should know, hey, I can't put my shed back here because that's on the easement.
It's also more the existing case now. So how does that, whatever lot, say they've got a shed built in the encroachment right now, how are they going to know how far they need to move their shed? What is indicating that back property line? And I guess that goes along the lines of whose responsibility is that?
It's their responsibility to make sure their stuff is on their lot. So, I guess if you got into litigation and we were saying, hey, they need to remove it, it's on the easement, we'd have to prove where the easement was.
My biggest push,
And that
my biggest push for this is we don't have a great history or a great track record of enforcing easements.
I agree.
So what is going to make this the most clear of where these easements are and how to make sure that they are maintained?
But what you guys are talking about is the undeveloped land, having those lots identified, right?
It's all the same corner.
Oh,
One corner is 4 lots.
and the easement just runs so much on each side of them. then, right?
7.5 feet.
I'm with you now.
Well, I guess the next issue is you gotta sell this before 2021.
I was gonna say that was the other issue. Does it something that needs to be done now, or could it wait till the spring or whatever?
I don't think that's critical right now.
I mean, either I think you get more in the budget for, if Kent wants to add that to his budget for next year.
Yeah.
But should be,
What have I done?
if it's sells.
Well, you don't have to.
No,
Well, saying if you want
It would be
to.
great for the budget. So you want to hold off to even advertise?
Well, and the question is, if we start sending letters out, and I think the way I had premised the letter is they needed to have their stuff removed by the end of the year.
Okay.
If we send a letter like that, then they're gonna start getting calls about, my stuff's on, my stuff's not on, how do you know where the line is? So that might be an issue that may force it, depending on what happens after those letters go out.
Well, but on that encroachment when he did, it's got, doesn't it have the existing?
Right located.
I'd have to go look at it. Doesn't it have on there how far they're over?
Should, if he's
Or like
showing.
if your, I'll just use you, if your fence is over, doesn't he show on there that your fence is, like here's the, whatever, the easement area that your fence is over here? I thought that's why he did that encroachment.
That's usually if he's
Was
done,
to show you.
did it like a location type survey and said, because a lot of times if you get one of those location surveys and say like the corner of your garage sits over the lot line,
Okay,
it'll
he's
say,
got his.
yeah.
Well, let Troy take a look at that, see if, because I thought that's what that was showing, but maybe it's not legal enough as far as the close-ups for each lot.
You haven't gotten any calls with those stakes out there yet?
That's pretty good.
I've had a couple people ask me, and I just tell them what's going on.
So like they've got like a building. It shows their fence encroachment, but like this one has a building.
It shows the building on it, but it doesn't tell you how much. Yeah, I mean, they'd have to take it clear up to here, to
in
get
the
it
back
over.
corner. But
Yeah.
what's the, I mean, I guess you could pull 9.6 feet off of the edge of your fence, but where the fence is shot and
Right.
Basically, between
Yeah,
those
this one
two flags
shows
is the
3.5.
property line, property fence.
So like this one right here,
Stakes, right in the middle is where the property line is.
so like
Did he
this
actually
one,
staked the easement?
They stake the easement, that's correct.
so like when he shows 3.5 feet right here,
I didn't realize that he actually staked the easement.
Yes,
Yeah.
7.5 feet both ways,
Okay.
yes.
this one is really,
Well, so either way.
the whole
he's saying-
building's in the easement here.
Correct. He's saying that the easement is staked. So
Oh,
that
I
was
see.
that was my biggest concern, is that you're going to tell people to move this, and they're going to get out there and say, where do I move it to? Because most of those stakes from the original plat probably aren't there.
This gives us a point of reference, so now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suspect 95% of the people that are on there that have encroachments know darn well. There may be a few that have moved and it was already there and didn't realize it or whatever, but most of them probably know they're doing it.
So what's your,
Hold on for now.
hold off
I would say hold
until,
off.
okay. Should we send the letters though?
Yeah.
I think the letters can be sent
Give 'em a heads
immediately.
up.
Well, and you could always, I mean, there's nothing set in stone. You could always, on special circumstances, say, hey, I don't know what there might be. And they say, well, we can't have that moved before the end of the year. And you say, well, kind of like you do with nuisances sometimes, where you work with people and say, okay, you got to have this done first, or you got to, if it gets too late and the ground's already frozen and there's like, well, we can't take this out now. Okay, well, as soon as it thaws, you can work with people.
Okay. Any other comments? Everybody set? Okay, you all set?
Yeah, for that. I'll skip around, do a couple easy ones, and we'll get back into some. Just a heads up, people probably get detoured later this week. Brian Excavating's getting ready to do the valve job there on East Edgerton, South Maple. They'll need to close the road for maybe a day or two. Shouldn't be a big deal. Then we had a big main break last Friday night. And if anybody's been in the Rock, East Cornelia area, you'll see we've got the whole road shut down. Some citizen that evidently doesn't like to be detoured, moved our barricades. And the bad thing with that is, they moved them right where the road was the worst, where we didn't want people driving over, because there's nothing under the asphalt. So we put things back this morning, so I'm hoping people will leave it. We're hoping to maybe get it dug tomorrow, find out how far we got to tear out. But if people just leave our stuff alone, it would help. I'm sure they thought, well, it's good road there, but that's where there's no stone under that asphalt. That's why we had it barricaded off. So they just need to assume we know what we're doing.
Just open it up.
Well, yeah, by the time a card falls
Yeah.
through, then we'd get yelled at.
Yeah.
We didn't know they moved our barricades. Let's take care of insurance renewal next. Just vote yes and we're good to go. Now, it's a pretty time consuming, for me at least. We've had some additions, some deletions, some changes. Overall, I think it's up, maybe $4,000 from last year. Our rate's the same, the only changes are affected by things we've added or if values go up. This would be the first year of a new 3-year rate freeze term. And you should have all gotten like a list of things if you wanted to increase coverage or drop some things. So has anybody got anything they want to add or subtract, or
Do we need earthquake coverage?
you've never had it before? That's not saying you might not want to add it. Maybe it's the way the world's gone. Who knows? I don't think I would drop that malicious act.
No.
There again, the way the world's going.
No,
If you want to increase the limits from, what do you say, 1 to 3 or whatever, council had dropped that quite a few years ago to save money. I don't think you want to decrease the cyber breach stuff. Councils have never wanted to add the underinsured motorists, but there again, if you want to, that's fine. I said it's pretty straightforward from years past. And Ohio Plan, they are very, very good to work with. Their risk management people, I've never had an issue when we've had claims.
Anybody got any questions for Kent? You want to go on his recommendation, or you want to add or subtract?
Make a motion that we follow Kent's recommendation.
Go ahead.
Roll call.
Bassett,
Yes.
Juan,
Yes.
Klepper,
Yes.
Barth,
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
That's 2 numbers.
And I'll give a little bit of good news before we get into more bad news. I'll kind of mix it up for you. Yeah. The last comment I made there as far as the funding issue, we had started doing the pre-application for the critical infrastructure grant that would have been for $500,000. Dennis Miller stopped by my office last week, and he had talked to some people in Columbus, and he thinks going after a different grant for $750,000 would probably fly. So I said, go ahead and switch gears, we'll apply for that. That's not set in stone yet either, so if things reverse, I'll let you know. But at this point, we're working with Maumee Valley planning on the $750,000 grant instead of the $500,000.
And that grant is for
The well field.
the well field. Okay.
And, that's good news, just something to file away in the bad news section of your brain is, if we don't get that, how you're going to pay to put your well fields in. Then while I'm being a Debbie Downer, we'll go to Industrial Drive Extension. I heard from the family, and so did the mayor. They are wanting us to get the infrastructure put in out there sooner rather than later, which is $1 million job. I talked to Choice One to get the PTI submittals updated, and now with all this COVID nonsense, everything's got to be electronic. So they'll be getting that stuff to me for a final review, then they'll send it to the EPA. So that's going to cost us about $5,100. And the thing with this is, the water PTI will last for 18 months. You can ask for a 1-year extension one time. The sewer PTI will last for 5. But like I said, this is $1 million project. Rounded off, it's roughly 600 for sewer and about 450-ish for water. And there's absolutely no programs out there that are going to contribute a dime for this, so.
What was that split?
Rounded off, it's around 440 for water and call it 600 for sewer.
You were planning to loop it up to,
Oh, you gotta loop the water, you're just adding a huge dead end, which.
okay, so you have to go clear up to High Street, or,
Yeah, now the sewer's only serving Industrial Drive,
okay,
but then that entails redoing most of that lift station, so that's the
Okay.
vast majority of that cost. The water loop would be totally stupid if we didn't bring it down to this,
Okay.
call it the school.
Right.
okay.
Because if somebody would develop out there, it'd be worse than what Haver Drive is as far as a loop.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna have to figure out where you want to try to get this fit into our other. We got the well fields next year, which is up to about 1.3 million for construction. The water tower in 2022 is roughly $1 million. The Defiance Avenue sewer job and the lift station, you push that off to 2022. That's roughly $1 million. That won't surprise me, that goes up based on what we're finding. So then you got this tossed in, so you got a lot of big dollar projects coming up that can maybe get some money for 3 of the 4, but like I said Industrial Drive is, you're either on a bar or you're gonna have to start saving real quick. So you can think about that one when you can't sleep.
Can I be refreshed on what exactly the agreement was?
We had to have utilities in out there within 4 years of buying that strip of land. And it's been, what, 6, 7 years?
Didn't they donate it? I can't remember. Did we buy it?
Well, they might have donated the land, and we had to put the road in.
Yeah,
Whatever.
they donated the land and.
And we had to have the utilities in.
How much land was that? What was that land for?
It's just enough for the road.
Yeah, it's basically the width of the
Width of the
road on the,
So that was a poor deal on the village's part.
I'm not making any comment on that part. The field towards the school, which would be south, I mean, this town's laid out weird. Our right-of-way ends right behind those street lights, because the Green family then owns that field,
Right.
so we didn't get anything off of them. On the other side, there's that ditch. Our right-of-way ends right beyond that, so we basically just got that strip. It's a nice racetrack for people, but the original intent was that we'll just bring businesses and development, and
When's the 4 years up?
about 3 years ago.
Oh.
I mean, the family's been.
I remember, but it seems like it was just 4 years ago.
Been a while.
Wow.
So anyway,
And we got to do what we said we would.
so took care of that one, took care of that one. Does anybody care about our sewer permit renewal? I didn't think about it at all today, so my blood pressure's down. But I will say, and this will probably irritate younger people, if they would have just left it paper and pencil, we would have been over and done with. This new technology just makes it worse. And the fact we also found out federal EPA has moved our plant without even telling our Northwest District. We're now a major operator, not a minor. And we asked, how could you do that without telling anybody? Well, I guess federal EPA can do what they want. So anyway, on one of the last drop-down boxes, because we were ready to submit this after sitting there 3.5 hours one day, we couldn't get it to go through, so we called and said, oh, what's up with this? Well, since you're now a major, there's a whole bunch of extra testing. So when you start seeing some bills in the upcoming months from IFM for lab testing, don't yell at me. We're testing for stuff we don't have to test for normally. A lot of things ending with IUM, and, you know, I can't even pronounce half of them. And it's gonna cost a ton of money. And we don't have to test for them in the future. But for this renewal, we have to so it's just been stupid from day one.
What does that do for the, so I'm assuming that's through the remainder of the year then, probably?
3 weeks in a row, which I thought, what sense does that make? So we test, I'll just say uranium, I don't think that's one of them. So we test it this week and it passes. We test it next week, it passes. 3 weeks in a row to me is pointless.
So we need to tell the nuclear factory to
Well,
Shut down that week.
Yeah, shut down for 3 weeks.
but then the district office, like I said, they didn't know we got upgraded, so they had to do some checking. Supposedly, when all this took place, we would have been doing this quarterly. Well, no, since nobody bothered to tell us, we didn't do it till we didn't know we had to do it. So we're next 3 weeks doing all these extra samples, and all I can think of is they want to change our limits and make us start doing stuff we haven't had in the past, just to be nice guys, which means it'll just cost us more money. We might have to change processes at the plant if it's something we can't treat now, just like uranium. So I don't know what'll happen there, but hopefully by like the 1st of August, we'll get this submitted.
We want to go back to being minor.
Yeah,
It has to be major.
I think if our Northwest District office didn't even know that, how would we have known?
Did we make sure that
Does
there
that
wasn't
change any
filing
qualifications for like operating?
I hope not,
I mean,
because the cutoff's 1 million gallons a day design flow. Our design flow's 0.95. That's less than 1 million to me,
yeah.
but I guess we're close enough they can round up now. I don't know. So, yeah, whether that's going to change, and we'll find out in our permit if they'll come back and say, well, no, now you're a class 3 and not a class 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, it's just not been very fun.
Well, if we've got to update this expensive testing, we have to move quarterly. Obviously, with budgets coming up, that's
Well, yeah, we said we'd spread the hit out, a little bit.
Right.
But if it's not stuff we have, I can see if it's stuff, yeah, you got to test for, you got to do extra testing. It's stuff that you're not having to test for. Why do we have to run these special tests? I just don't get it. I don't think I got any other bad news. The only thing, next week, I've not had a vacation in 2+ years. I'm going to try to take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week off.
Do it.
So if you think I'm slacking, then I don't care. But no, at this point, I got to be back for Thursday and Friday. It's not a big deal, but I might be out of the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for now.
That's it?
Unless you got questions about, there's a bunch of other stuff going on. Unless you got questions on it, doesn't really affect you.
When will they be done with Smith Street? About wrapped up with that?
Now you got my blood pressure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See there,
Never mind,
perfect
take it.
board.
Short of going into executive session, I'll just say we've had some issues. I'm hoping we're on the home stretch, and I'll leave it at that. Until things are totally done and sorted out.
any updates from CSX on?
They were 45 days behind schedule, the last I saw on ODOT announcement. Now, I did talk to one of the guys a couple weeks ago, and they are raising that a foot.
Oh.
They are?
But that's not enough to get rid of the truck.
Right.
It's like, I thought, well, that might help a couple close height-wise trucks now make it through there. But it'll be like 13.6 instead of 12.6, give or take up, whatever. ODOT will come out and measure it later, but they could have just gone another 2 foot up. We could have got rid of that dopey truck detour, but we're stuck with it. Oh, and did everybody get the email this afternoon about that road transportation?
Long-range plan?
The major
Yeah.
project list.
If you want to add anything, but like I said, that list has got nothing to do with, like, whoever was number one's, and maybe ODOT's funding them, depending on what the project is. Nothing on there is connected to if you're getting the money or this, if it's a grant or whatever. It's just how they've ranked all these projects that have been submitted, so.
But I see the North Main Railroad is number 9 on the list. Is that
Yeah,
the same?
scoring wise, it scored okay.
That isn't what they're doing now.
No.
No, that'd be us
That makes too much
actually
sense,
going.
Bill.
Yeah, you would think.
If you could get ODOT to go in to lower it, raise it, whatever, because CSX isn't going to raise it any higher, I'm sure. So yeah, we wouldn't have any funding, say if you wanted to do it next year. Okay, you're going to have to cough up the money. But yeah, if you want to add something, let me know and I'll put it on. But
When are they going to repave all the state routes in town? Do you have any, is it next year?
man, I got to be Debbie Downer again.
I should have.
There goes blood pressure.
It was maybe 2022, but now I'm hearing maybe 2023. It's not set in stone yet.
It was supposed to be done 2 years ago.
It was supposed to be done in 2018.
2018.
That's why we didn't pave after those water jobs, because they were supposed to be coming in right after.
Okay.
So earliest, I think, is going to be 2022.
Okay. Any other questions for Kent?
And these are roads that we've never had to pay for ourselves to get repaved, it's always been the state.
Yes,
We never really had the budget for it, and if we had the budget for these roads, it'd be a tremendous expense that the city's never incurred before. That's why we keep, I know people complain about the bumps and
Yes, slows them down.
It's a lot of money to pay that length to them.
Is the storm separation still scheduled for next month again, or?
Yeah, they're supposed to do the lining, well, I thought he said like October 1st, whether that's the exact date. They'll do the lining first, and then mid-November they'll start tearing them.
Okay. Any other questions? Good questions, good report, Kent.
Thanks, Kent.
Thanks.
Okay. Troy?
First thing I have is ordinance 2020-06, second reading by caption only, an ordinance adopting section 922 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, setting forth rules and regulations regarding disposal of oil and grease in the sewer system. Actually, should be 925.
Any questions on that one? I know we're not voting yet, but
No, I think that one I made a separate ordinance number.
Is it 92509? Because that's what I was just, the two numbers don't match, and so I need to check which one it is before next meeting. That's why I just made a note to myself. I'll get with you.
I'll send you what I numbered them tomorrow, and then you can number them what you want then.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we got it consistent. And then ordinance 2020-07, an ordinance adopting chapter 924 of the codified ordinances of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, setting forth rules and regulations regarding sewer usage in the village. Then ordinance 2020-12, an ordinance to amend the annual appropriations ordinance and declare an emergency. This is what Cheryl put on the desk to amend the agenda.
That's our COVID money. We need to have it in the budget before we can spend any.
Make a motion to suspend.
I'll second that.
roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Second, third readings, ordinance 2020-12 by caption only, an ordinance to amend the annual appropriations ordinance.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Klepper?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Ridgway?
First reading of resolution 2020-21 by caption only, a resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent cost of weed and grass mowing on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency. This is one of the couple of things that we do every year about this time, so that any amounts that we've had to spend on mowing grass gets added to the taxes when they do it here coming up to the fall.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Second, third readings of resolution 2020-21 by caption only, a resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent costs of weed and grass mowing on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-22, first reading by caption only. A resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent water and sewer bills on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend?
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Second, third reading by caption only, Resolution 2020-22, a resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent water and sewer bills on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency.
Make a motion to move.
Second?
Roll call.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
And first reading, a resolution 2020-23 by caption only, a resolution to assess streetlight millage and declaring an emergency.
Did that go up or down? Same?
Say the same as last year. It's half of what we used to do.
Okay.
Motion to suspend?
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Barth?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Second, third readings of resolution 2020-23 by caption only, a resolution to assess streetlight millage and declaring an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-24, first reading by caption only, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
That doesn't have to be.
Oh, it doesn't have to be, okay.
No.
It's got to be in by a certain time?
Shouldn't say.
Because we could do, I mean, just to clarify, there's two distinct things. One is to suspend the rules and the other is to pass it as an emergency. So you can always, by three-quarter vote of the members of council, suspend the rules, which just waives the three readings on separate nights and doesn't necessarily pass it as an emergency. So on something like this, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but you could do it that way. Then you still have the 30-day referendum period if you do it that way.
What's your wishes?
Doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's something we do every year, and usually those are the type of things that a lot of councils will just say, hey, let's suspend the rules, take care of it in one night, and move on.
I make a motion to suspend.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
So then second and third readings of Resolution 2020-24 by caption only, resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Then Resolution 2020-25, a first reading by caption only, a resolution to enter into an agreement with the Defiance County Commissioners for the recovery of monies expended for providing legal counsel to indigent persons for the calendar year 2021. This is another one of them that we do every year about this time. It allows the state reimburses the county for, instead of having like public defenders that the state pays for, they send a certain amount of money, and this is necessary for us to recover whatever portion we're entitled to from the county commissioners. Again, I don't think it's an emergency, but we could suspend the rules.
I make a motion to suspend and might as well get it done with.
Second.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Barth?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
So it's second and third readings of Resolution 2020-25 by caption only, a resolution to enter into an agreement with the Defiance County Commissioners for the recovery of monies expended for providing legal counsel to indigent persons for the calendar year 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
And then the last thing that I have is that Cheryl included in there, the who's this come from, Cheryl? The Budget Commission, where they talk about the share of local government funds. They're asking us to pass a motion basically agreeing to accept the $68,816 as our share of the undivided local government fund, which is less than last year. And I don't know, do you have
About 10,000.
information as to that,
Yeah,
Cheryl?
last year was 78,044.
Is there a reason, I mean, other than less money coming in, or our share was different, or what?
They're expecting it
Yeah,
to be less.
so that would need to have a motion so that we could sign that, get it back to them, and they can start distributing those funds to us.
I'll entertain the motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes.
Beverly? Oh, Ridgway?
He said no.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
That's all I have in there.
Okay. Any other questions for Troy?
I think Troy's winning.
Just had two real quick things. We did 471 calls for service for the month of August. And then we used our donut sale money to purchase a new rifle for the department from the ammo can, which
Okay.
we really like to thank everybody that helped us out and was involved in that. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
That's it.
Any questions for Doc?
Have you shot it
Go.
yet? Good,
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fire, I think there's a report, if I can find it. Yeah, got lots of money through those 3 grants. I think we need to announce that so everybody knows. Awarded a new 3,000-gallon tanker. The amount awarded was $377,000, and our share only being $18,000. So the total award was $396,000 for the tanker. And then also awarded 21 complete air packs. And then there's extra face pieces, one for every firefighter, which is huge, and a new air compressor. And the amount of that award was $194,952, with our share of $9,747, for a total of $204,700. So it's a total of $601,200 for the new equipment, so, which will have minimum impact on the budget, so.
That's great.
And Scott just said I would like to thank the council for having the confidence in me to obtain these grants, so.
Very good.
Yep. Park Director, I don't see. You
Yeah, no meeting.
That's right, they didn't have one, so.
Right.
Okay, Cheryl, fiscal officer report.
You have the fund status report, and at the time I printed it, we got our final payment of the COVID money today. You have the August income tax and utility collections report. You have the mayor's court report. We received a liquor control notice from the state. And I sent you the OML article is in the magazine that comes here once a month. It used to come to each councilman, but now, we only get one here. So I made copies of it. It has to do with social media, Facebook, things like that, what you can and can't do as a public official. You can still get your message out, but you have to follow the rules. So this article tells you what you can and can't do. And the Ohio Checkbook, Hicksville is a member. We were the first ones in Defiance County to join up. And so they've revamped the whole thing. You can go on there and see every check I've ever written on Ohio Checkbook. And I put in a copy of the spreadsheet I do before I pay the electric bill. Didn't come out too well, but there's some highlighted parts. It's all gray. The little star I just wanted to show you is how much it costs for us to pay for the pool through August. $471 in electricity.
And that wasn't a full month, right?
No, that's what, yeah, it was 1 month.
Well, the pool closed early, right?
Yeah. And it's like really, really high. And then, what was the other one? The concession stand right below it, $186 for 1 month. So, when you see it in a lump, you don't know what it's broken down to unless you see what I do with all the individual bills. Just FYI. Yeah. And then there is a letter that the mayor wrote. Well, we got a template that we sent to the...
Wait, I was going to
I
say.
thought it was impressed, Ron.
So was I.
That's
So was I. It was a good letter, but we'll see.
had to
Hopefully it does some
tweak
good.
And we sent it to the congressman to let them know that, we have the code money and we'd like to cover our shortfalls. They're working on it. What else? We have an email from the meeting when Val and Gary went to the Defiance County Metropolitan Park Board. Got permission in writing to remove the playground. And finally, this whole, I don't know if I gave everybody all of this. This is all of the COVID information, our money, how we can use it, how we can't use it. And finally, the mayor sent this email to me. It was from Representative Latta about our mail no longer goes to Michigan temporarily. It's trying to make it permanent. It's going to stay in Ohio.
Good.
That's all I've got.
Okay, any questions for Cheryl? Thanks, Cheryl. Good report.
Still going through the audit?
Yeah, they're doing payroll right now. I don't want to say it in front of the microphone. It's not fun.
Any other questions?
Oh, I do have one thing to say about the budget coming up. I think we're going to be pretty good if we stick with what we did last year. If we try to make as many cuts as we can. We talked about this last time with the payroll. If we do not do raises, our normal payroll a year is $1.1 million. And if you do not do the raise, you're going to be saving a little over $30,000. And to pay the full-time people to have those 2 extra holidays is only $7,784. So it makes sense. And with that $30,000 gone off the budget, that helps. And if they don't increase their budget, then cross your fingers, we should be okay.
Question, separate from that, but we had a couple emails about that RCAP training, and Jesse had said something about there's one more person from council. Is that still correct? That has to,
Yeah, because you have to have
or an elected official?
a majority. So someone else needs to take it besides the committee.
There's
Mike
3 of us
Barth.
that are.
So if you need the email with the link, the committee has it, or you can get it from me or Jesse.
Any other questions for Cheryl? Do we need, full council needs to vote on that package, or is that?
No, that would be when you do the budget.
Okay, yeah. The only report I have is Halloween, which is, I'm going to set it for the 31st of October. It's a Saturday. Is it the council's wishes to have it or not have it? Any thoughts on that?
Have it.
Have it?
I
Have it.
agree, have it.
3, 1, 2, 3.
I think if people are scared, they won't go. they're really
Okay.
afraid.
Halloween's about being scared.
Well, that's true, too.
So I guess the consensus is we're going to have it, it'll be October 31st, this is Saturday.
And it's always subject to change, obviously, if a week before we have some major, where the
See, the election will.
governor locks us down, we'll be coming up.
Yeah. Okay. Made that decision for me easy.
What was the timeline?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what time?
Keep it from 4
4
to
to
6?
6, before it got dark, is how we...
That's fine.
I've kind of noticed over the years, my kids are way past trick-or-treating age, and I still do it, but the kids don't. Anyway, the fire department has, the fire department with their gathering, and they have a lot of kids in that building. I mean, things like that, is that going to still be allowed? I mean,
Right, that's a
going door to
totally
door is
different thing
different
there.
things.
Yeah.
I know, I think the
Social
Eagles do.
Yeah, we probably won't.
Well, we talked about, we were just gonna have a one enter one way and just walk through and exit out.
Not keep everyone congregated all in there the whole time. And
Just have
kinda-
a walk through.
Okay.
They get their, everything that they want.
So you guys would just be dropping like your costume contest, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, they can wear costumes, just.
Right,
It's
not like you've had it, though.
Not judging or anything else
Right,
like that.
right.
So the trunk or treats happen around town with the different, like, churches and offering that kind of thing where, that kind of stuff, if they're social distancing, I mean, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. And like
Door kind of stuff.
Troy says, that can be subject to change. Is that Troy down there on the floor?
That's me down there.
Okay. Anything else that needs to be brought before this council tonight?
I just have a question. I had somebody reach out to me about potentially doing some sort of fall concert out in the park somewhere. Heard from him today that may not happen, but he wanted to see what the process would be, or I guess the correct avenue to go down if they did want to do some sort of event in the park. Just not charging anything, basically just set up a stage and play music. But that's, I don't, what is the process of getting permission to do that?
Probably start off with the park board. Make sure they're all okay with it. I mean, there's a lot of extra work and roping stuff up for parking, trash cans, make sure restroom facilities are open. Electricity, yeah. Having what the band or person needs. I think it'd start with them first. And
What date are you thinking?
Well, it may not happen, so it's, they basically, I was more curious for myself since they called it off, but said there wasn't really a
I
whole
think
lot of
it'd be good.
You have to go to the park board, place, where, time.
And hopefully next year we'll have it uptown.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I know it's different.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say park board's a blessing, and if they want to do it.
I was gonna say, the only thing's gonna be date-wise, if there's a conflict with the pavilion being rented or something, I mean, they'll have to take into account, not being able to use some of the parking and
Yeah.
whatever, so I don't know when it's rented for or whatever, but once you get some dates, you might want to check with Dawn or the guy, whatever. Just make sure there's no conflict that night.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Roll call.
Barth,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Swan,
Yes.
Flipper.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.